Imagine a world where manipulators run the show, twisting words, playing mind games, and leaving you second-guessing yourself at every turn. Sound familiar? It's time to flip the script. For too long, manipulators have held the upper hand, slipping their psychological daggers between your ribs and then making you apologize for bleeding. They're experts at reading people, knowing exactly which emotional switches to flick. One moment you're calm, the next you're tangled in their web of blame and confusion. Ever met that coworker who makes you feel like you owe them every time they ask for a favor? Or that boss who somehow convinces you that every mistake in the office is your fault? Maybe it's the relative who starts an argument and then acts like you caused the chaos. These people are masters of emotional judo, flipping your strength into their advantage. But here's the game changer. You don't have to play by their rules anymore. Today, we're going to unpack 7 psychological counterstrikes that disarm manipulators where it hurts most. Their sense of control. These aren't your run-of-the-mill, just set boundaries suggestions. These are strategic, battle-tested psychological tactics that neutralize their tricks and reclaim your power. And by the time we reach response number 7, you'll have a move so powerful it'll make even the most cunning manipulator stumble. Let's dive in. The calm mirror. When a manipulator comes at you with guilt-tripping, gaslighting, or blame-shifting, your instinct might be to defend yourself or fight back emotionally. But that's exactly what they want. Instead, become the mirror that reflects their words right back at them, calmly and without emotional charge. Picture a colleague blaming you for their missed deadline. Interesting. You're saying that it's my fault you didn't finish your work on time. This mirror not only makes them hear the absurdity of their accusation, but it also puts the responsibility back on them. By refusing to react emotionally, you show them that their words have no power over your sense of self. Another example. Oh, so you're suggesting that because I didn't respond to your message instantly, I'm intentionally ignoring you. Use their own logic against them, politely but firmly. The manipulator will either have to back down or reveal the emptiness of their claims. Over time, this tactic trains them that you won't be baited into their emotional games. 2. The curiosity trap. Manipulators count on your knee-jerk reactions, anger, defensiveness, guilt, to control the narrative. But when you replace defensiveness with curiosity, it short-circuits their script. For example, "That's interesting. What led you to believe that I would react that way?" Or, "Why do you think that's my responsibility?" Genuine curiosity shifts the dynamic from a heated debate to an open question. It disarms the manipulator because it forces them to explain their reasoning, something they often avoid. A manipulator's power comes from controlling the narrative, but curiosity breaks that control and puts the spotlight back on them. Suddenly, they're on the defensive, scrambling to justify themselves. 3. The yes and parry nothing frustrates a manipulator more than agreement that doesn't give them the control they seek. Instead of immediately opposing them, "No, but," or "That's not true," you acknowledge their point while subtly shifting the focus. "Yes, and I see how you might feel that way, and here's what I think." This technique is like psychological judo. You use their momentum to redirect the conversation. Example, manipulator. "You never help me with anything." You, "Yes, and I understand you might feel that way. And at the same time, I've helped out several times this month, so I'd like to talk about how we can share responsibilities more fairly." This way, you validate their feelings, without validating their manipulation, and keep the conversation constructive. 4. The strategic pause. Silence is one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal. Manipulators thrive on emotional reactions, but silence denies them the feedback they crave. After they drop a manipulative comment like, "You never do anything for me," pause. Breathe. Let the silence hang in the air. Most people rush to fill uncomfortable silences, not manipulators. They get anxious because they're not sure how you'll respond. That uncertainty makes them reveal more of their game, or even backtrack. Try it next time you sense the emotional hook. Count to 5, slowly, and watch them squirm. It's like shining a light on their trickery. 5. The logical anchor. Manipulators love to drown you in emotional quicksand. Blame, guilt, shame. But logic is like a sturdy rope that pulls you and them back to reality. Ask them, can you walk me through how you reached that conclusion? Or help me understand the steps that got you to that opinion? These questions force them to lay out their reasoning step by step. Often, there is none. It's smoke and mirrors. By making them explain, you expose the lack of substance behind their claims. Example: manipulator. You're always so selfish. You. Can you help me understand what specific actions you're referring to? They'll either fumble for a real answer or expose themselves as baseless. 6. The broken record. Technique: manipulators often rely on repetition to wear you down. They'll repeat demands or blame over and over until you cave, but you can outlast them by being the broken record yourself, calmly repeating your boundary word for word. Example: I understand you're upset. My answer is still no. No matter how many times they circle back, your answer stays the same. Manipulator: but I need you to help me. You: I understand you're upset. My answer is still no. Repeat as needed. This consistency shows them you're not budging, and eventually they'll realize their game won't work. 7. The power exit. Sometimes the most powerful move is to simply walk away. Manipulators crave an emotional reaction. They want you to argue, justify, or defend. By exiting the conversation calmly, you deny them that satisfaction. Example: that's not something I'm willing to discuss right now. Goodbye. Or, I don't feel comfortable with this conversation. Let's pick it up later, if necessary. Your exit is the ultimate statement of power. You choose when and how you engage. It leaves them with no script to follow, just their own manipulative silence. Manipulators are like chess players, always plotting 3, sometimes even 5 moves ahead. Their goal is to stay in control, to make you doubt your instincts, to make you dance to their rhythm while they orchestrate the game. They study your emotions like a grandmaster studies the board, exploiting every hesitation, every reaction, every weakness you unknowingly show them. But here's the truth they don't want you to realize. When you master these 7 psychological responses, you flip the entire game board. Suddenly, you're not the pawn they maneuver around anymore. You're the grandmaster, the one who sees every move they make, anticipates every trap, and stays one step ahead. Think of it this way. Every manipulator is playing a script. They're counting on you to respond predictably, fearful, angry, guilty, desperate to please. When you react that way, they win. But when you refuse to play by their rules, the script collapses. Their power dissolves like sugar in water. So the next time you feel that emotional noose tightening, like someone's twisting your feelings, pulling your strings, pause. Remember this. Mirror their words calmly. Let them hear the echo of their own manipulation, reflected back with unwavering neutrality. It forces them to confront the absurdity of their accusations. Use curiosity to disrupt their game. A single well-timed question can dismantle their entire plan. When you ask them to explain their logic, you force them out of their emotional script and into a place where their tactics can't survive. Say yes and to deflect. Instead of denying or defending, you agree in a way that pivots the conversation. You validate their feelings without surrendering your truth. That's psychological Aikido, redirecting their energy while staying balanced. Let silence do the talking. Every manipulator fears the void of silence because it forces them to reveal their next move. Use that pause as your secret weapon. Let them squirm in the space they try to control. Anchor them in logic. Ask them to explain their reasoning step by step. Like peeling an onion, layer by layer, you expose the emptiness of their arguments. Logic is the manipulator's natural enemy. It robs them of their illusions. Repeat your boundaries. When they push and prod, repeat your stance like a mantra. I understand you're upset. My answer is still no. Every repetition builds a wall they can't climb. And when all else fails, walk away. Remember, you owe them no explanation, no emotional reaction, no piece of yourself. Walking away is the final checkmate. It's the move that says, I choose me. I choose my peace. And I refuse to play your game. Because real power doesn't come from controlling others. It comes from refusing to be controlled. And when you reclaim that power, you don't just survive manipulators, you outmaneuver them. So here's your reminder. You're not a pawn. You're the grandmaster of your own mind. And every time you use these strategies, you tilt the board in your favor. Game on.